Hello YouTube, and for those Fire Emblem fans, the Fire Emblem Engage is now released early, and you can now play this game into your PC if you just know what you're gonna do. So these are the files that you will need in order to play Fire Emblem Engage into your PC: the keys, firmware from the Nintendo Switch, and Fire Emblem game. And that you will need to install the latest build of ryujinx emulator. For those who do not know, ryujinx emulator is a Nintendo Switch emulator that can play Nintendo Switch games into your PC. And as you can see here, I have already have the Fire Emblem Engage game. This is version 1.0, and I have played 44 minutes of it, and the game runs quite amazing in this ryujinx emulator build. So I'm gonna teach you how to get ryujinx emulator and how to get Fire Emblem Engage. So I'm gonna minimize ryujinx here and just open a web browser here and just type in ryujinx emulator. So ryujinx.org is their official website. Click on that and go to the download tab. If you are using Mac OS, you should be aware that Mac OS 11 and later version is the only thing that ryujinx emulator is supported with. And if you're from Linux, then you can just download here. And if you're from Windows, just like mine, you can download here. So I'm just going to skip the download and installation process for this because it's really easy to do and that any noob can do that. I'm going to minimize that and open ryujinx emulator here. So if this is your first installation, then boot up your ryujinx emulator, and that you will be met with certain errors saying that you will need some certain files to be installed in ryujinx emulator so that you can play Nintendo Switch games. So what are those files? So these are the files that you need to install into your ryujinx emulator. So these are the Nintendo Switch keys and the Nintendo Switch firmware. And it should be in version 15 so that ryujinx emulator will boot up Fire Emblem Engage. Fire Emblem Engage should be in XCI file format or NSP file format. But in this tutorial, I'm using XCI version. So if you're asking me where you can get all these files, then legally speaking, you can only get these files if you own a Nintendo Switch console, which is modded and have a custom firmware installed in it. Because if it has a custom firmware installed in it, then you can access your Nintendo Switch system files, wherein you can get a copy of the keys and firmware from the Nintendo Switch. Then you can just copy it into your PC. And in order for you to get Fire Emblem Engage, you should own the game, you should buy it, and have a physical copy of it and digitally back it up into an XCI file format. So, if you don't own a Switch, or if you have a Switch but don't know how to mod or install a custom firmware into that Switch, then I'm just going to save you the hassle and teach you where to get all these files. So, in order to get all of these files here, I'm just going to leave a QR code here wherein you can scan with your QR code reader with your mobile device, and you will be redirected to the download page wherein you can get all of these files, which is approps.com. And just visit the website, and in the middle part of the page, you can get the XCI file format of Fire Emblem Engage. And in order to get the keys and firmware, just hover down into the website so you can get the keys and firmware. So now, I'm going to assume that you have already done that and that you have downloaded all of the files and that you have a copy of it into your PC. Now, it's time to install them into your ryujinx emulator. To do that, just go to ryujinx, go to File, go to Open ryujinx folder, and then Open System folder. The next step is to open the keys zip file here, and then just drag and drop these files into your folder, to this folder, okay? And if this is your first installation, then this folder should be empty. Closing that. Now it's time to install the firmware. To install the firmware, all you have to do is go back to ryujinx, go to Tools, install firmware from XCI or zip file, and click on that firmware file, and hit open. And then you will install it, then hit yes, and it will say successfully installed. Now your ryujinx will be able to boot up any Nintendo Switch games now, and it will show the game icons for that game. So I have here Fire Emblem Engage, and now it's time to optimize your ryujinx emulator so that it will run this game with no issues at all. To do that, just go back to ryujinx, go to Options, go to Settings, and then in this part of the tutorial, just pause the video and copy my settings. Okay, so be sure to copy everything. The game directories is wherein you will put the game, and the game should be, again, in XCI or NSP file format, because this is the only file formats that ryujinx emulator will be able to support. Now go to Input, Here, it's better to use a controller in playing Nintendo Switch games because it's really hard if you use a keyboard or mouse. In order to configure, just go to Player 1 and hit Configure. Okay, so my controller is not detected yet here, so I'm just gonna disconnect my controller first, and I will reconnect it back again. Now go to Configure again. There, my Nintendo Switch Pro controller is detected. So if you don't have a controller such as the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, but if you have a PlayStation or Xbox controller or any USB type of controller, then you can just connect it here and just map it according to your liking and hit save. Now the next step is go to System. And in this part, just pause the video and copy my settings. Now go to Graphics. So this is the most important part, and you should follow everything. Graphics backend with the threading should be on. Graphics backend should be invoked. Your preferred GPU should be your graphics card, your dedicated GPU, and the enhancements should be enable shader cache and enable macro HLE. The resolution scale should be in 2x resolution so that the game will look sharper and much better than the native resolution for the Nintendo Switch. But if your PC cannot handle that, then just go to the native resolution. But for me, I'm going for 2x resolution. And isotrophic filtering should be auto, and aspect ratio should be in 16:9. And once done, hit apply and save. Now, your ryujinx emulator is now fully capable and optimized to run Fire Emblem Engage. And a little bit of disclaimer, I'm not going to show you guys a gameplay of Fire Emblem Engage because we all know that Nintendo is really strict on this kind of content and they don't want it to be shown in the internet, especially in YouTube. So if I do show that, then my channel will be taken down and my videos will be taken down. So to save myself from the hassle, I'm not going to show you guys a gameplay of Fire Emblem Engage. But I am willing to show a little bit of boot up in the title screen of Fire Emblem Engage. So I'm just gonna boot up now. I'm just gonna blur the screen in order for my channel not to be hit with any copyright strike issues with Nintendo or in YouTube. So here it is. It will take some time because ryujinx is loading up the shader cache for Fire Emblem Engage. I am now in the official artwork of Fire Emblem Engage, and I'm just blurring things out of here. I'm just gonna stop the emulation now because the audio might give me some copyright strike issues. But that's basically when you skip on that music, then you'll be in the title screen of Fire Emblem Engage. And the game will run 30 FPS with no issues at all or graphical issues while playing the game. So if you followed all the steps in this video tutorial, then you'll be able to play Fire Emblem Engage, no issues at all. So if you have some questions regarding the installation process for Fire Emblem Engage into your PC, then just leave a comment in the comment section below and I will try my best to answer all of them. So please do subscribe to my channel, this will help me out. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Goodbye for now.